Hello, my name is Nick, and welcome to Watch This Now. A Nasty Piece of Work is this year's Christmas installment in Hulu's Into the Dark series, a series that I am just now being introduced to, even though I am a massive horror fan. This is the partnership between Blumhouse Productions, who have been part of making some of the best modern horror over the last decade. It's their partnership with Hulu. Every holiday they put out a horror holiday-themed TV movie, and this series looks like a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to dive into it while I can temporarily afford Hulu. A Nasty Piece of Work follows a stressed out office douchebag who is vying for a Christmas promotion. He's probably got some massive student loan payments piled up. Maybe he wants to buy his wife something. I don't know. He needs some money, right? So he finds out that his evil boss is a total Grinch this year and no one is getting a Christmas bonus. So our protagonist, whose name I don't remember at all because this film is not that interesting, he flips out, grabs his boss's golf club, smashes a mirror, and, has a total meltdown. But then his boss surprisingly invites him to his luxurious mansion home for an extended interview of sorts for a possible promotion. So our protagonist, along with his wife, they go to said mansion for this Christmas party, I guess? I don't really know. When they're there, they see that the protagonist's main work rival is also there with his wife, and when they're greeted by their hosts, the boss and his wife, the protagonist and his rival are then pit against one another in a sort of challenge to see who is more willing to get this promotion. And when an old rifle is fired and blood is shed, things quickly spiral out of control. While this did feel like a TV movie overall, I was surprised by the production quality that it had. I thought it looked really well. Unfortunately, I don't think that this had enough story to play out. I can't speak for the other installments, but it makes sense that this maybe should just be, as opposed to something feature length, just 50 to 60 minutes, just sort of a TV episode that is an anthology format that switches up. I don't know about the other ones. They could have better storylines. However, this could have been one simple short episode. Hell, this could have been like a half hour long. There is not a lot there. The setup is quite simple. We have these three couples in this one location, and they're really kind of just caricatures, to be honest. The hosts are the image of the corrupt wealthy and how horribly they treat people below them. You then have the rival and his wife, and they're pretty much like the adult football player and cheerleader. They're the Spidey of this entire scenario. And then you have our protagonist and his wife, and they're the earnest couple that's just trying to do good. But the entire middle portion of this thing is just mind games as characters are pit against one another, going back and forth without a lot of development. I didn't need like a ton of violence, to be perfectly honest, but I think this would have played better if the scenarios they got into were increasingly more violent, because they're really just psychologically tormenting, which might work for some, but I found it to be a little boring because I didn't feel like there were stakes or that there was anything really to be lost here. I felt like everyone was gonna make it out perfectly okay. But our characters are so basic that all of that middle stuff, none of it's really that interesting. One big thing that I have a huge problem with is a trope used in this film that really just needs to be done. We need to get rid of this. Like, whenever you have a movie where rich people have some big grand scheme, it's like money equals magic, and they can just do something that's completely off the wall stupid because they're rich, so it totally makes sense, doesn't it? Well, it doesn't. There's a development here in A Nasty Piece of Work that I thought was just so stupid. I couldn't believe they actually did it. As it continued to play out, I was like, why on earth was this added here? Is this what they did to try and stretch this out to a feature-length film? This is dumb. This should have been removed. Do not do it again, Into the Dark, please. Also, what's really disappointing is that this movie is not even properly Christmas themed. Sure, there are decorations in the background, and the setup of the film is that a character wants a Christmas bonus, but hell, it could have been a Flag Day bonus. It didn't need to be Christmas. This should have been much more entrenched in the holiday season, something like that. This could have applied to pretty much any holiday, and I don't think it works. I would have preferred something very Christmassy. I think there are plenty of Christmas horror stories to explore, especially in this anthology format. I'm gonna have to look into last year's episode, but this one I just just didn't feel like was Christmassy enough to even make it a Christmas horror recommendation to you. Overall, it wasn't a complete waste of time, and I do think that the actors tried to do what they could with the little material that they had, and again, that production quality was quite good for being a low-aiming film. However, I really don't recommend it, and it's not one that I plan on revisiting. However, I will have to look at the rest of these Into the Dark films because there is some promise here. But I'm just going to give A Nasty Piece of Work a 2 out of 5. I think it had potential, and also I don't think it had potential. Had they taken this material in a way that I would have preferred, again with maybe more violence and higher stakes, I think that there could have been something interesting here. What did you think of A Nasty Piece of Work? What installments of Into the Dark have you been into? Let me know in the comments, I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video.